Trisha is in Bishop Stortford. Trisha, what would you like to say?
Oh, hi there, James. I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, don't be silly. It's only me.
I know, that's what I'm nervous about, because I know you don't agree with what I'm going to say.
Go on, then.
Okay, I'm going to play the devil's advocate.
No, don't. Just tell me what you think. A devil's advocate means you're pretending to believe something for the sake of a debate. Tell me what you think.
Well, I'm going to play the devil's advocate. That's the way I see it.
So you're not going to tell me what you actually believe, then?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you my perspective.
Yeah,
on
good.
It.
Okay.
If I had a baby and I got in a boat, because I quite fancy going to Australia or New Zealand, and I travelled across various oceans to get there, and then when I arrived, the authorities of that country thought I'd been highly irresponsible and put my child at risk because I'm illegally trying to enter a country. I'm just wondering if that's possibly the way the Americans see it, because at the end of the day, these are people that are illegally trying to enter the country. It's an illegal thing they're trying to do, and they are putting their children at risk by doing it. I travelled extensively.
At risk of what?
Well, because they're putting their children in a very dangerous position.
Why do you think they do it, Trisha?
Well, I would never have believed this myself.
No, just why do you think they do it? Why do you think someone...
I'm trying to explain to you. I travelled extensively in India myself. I backpacked around India for a year, and I saw children that were being mercilessly used, sometimes by their parents, sometimes by people that had actually abducted them, to play on the emotions of tourists and various... Honestly, I've seen this myself.
Yes, no, I believe you, but it's not the question I asked you. If you're from...
I'm just saying people mercilessly use their children to get what they want sometimes.
Yes. So if you're living in poverty, in Guatemala and you decide to try to get to America with your family, why do you think you're trying to get to America?
Well, personally, if that was me, if I was living in poverty and I wanted to get to another country, I think I'd send my husband first and I'd keep the children safe.
Yes.
And then if he managed to get passage...
But the husband is the only person that can earn a living, and you're already living in abject poverty.
Do you not put any blame on the parents at all? Do you not?
No, I don't. No, Trisha, I don't use the word blame in the context of a conversation like this. It's the last word I would ever reach for in a billion years. But I respect your right to reach for it first. What is? Do you think the reason why? Trisha, they try to get into America with their families. Why do you think that is? Because you're right, there are risks. But what they've done is weigh up the risks and decide that that is a better chance for their children than staying where they started.
Well, when in 2015...
Just listen to this again, Trisha. Listen again. No. Yes.
I don't know where that... No,
All babies in nappies that have been separated from their mums and dads for 3 or 4 days. Some of them are teenagers with perfect English. So just imagine one of them was here now, and you, using your experiences of backpacking in India, explain to them why they're in that cage.
We were just on holiday and we were talking to some Americans.
You're talking to a teenage Guatemalan now. Go on.
I'm trying to answer the question. We were on holiday. We were talking to some Americans that were Trump supporters, and they were basically saying that many of their friends are having to do 4 jobs because after Obama...
I thought the immigrants took all the jobs.
Well, this is why they're saying they want the borders closed, because they're saying people can't get full-time work.
They've got 4 jobs.
No, they won't give them a full-time job. They've got to do 4 separate jobs.
So just explain to that Guatemalan teenager why they're in a cage. Using your experiences of backpacking in India.
I think there's children in this country the Americans are more concerned about. They mentioned the Charlie Gard case, the Alfie Evans case.
Yes, but that's all the alt-right propaganda that's designed to make Americans reject socialised healthcare because they don't want rich people, don't want poor people getting treated. But talk again to that... Trisha, this isn't an argument. Just explain to that, using your experiences of backpacking in India, explain to that Guatemalan teenager why they're locked in a cage with 2,000 4-year-olds.
You don't let people explain unless it's what you want to hear.
No, I want to hear your answer. Charlie Gard has got nothing to do with that Guatemalan teenager.
Because children in this country are treated terribly, and the perception from America is that...
Okay, so you're telling a Guatemalan teenager that they're in a cage because people in Britain are treated terribly?
I'm telling the Guatemalan teenager that their parents should not have brought them into a country illegally.
But it's better than where they came from. The risks they've run.
You don't know that.
So why do you think they've done it then, Trisha?
Because there's a globalist agenda. George Soros is funding a lot of
here
it
we are.
to get rid of all the borders. You know that as well as I do.
I know one thing, Trisha, and I honestly, if you had a brain cell, my love, it would die of loneliness. It's 1 minute after 11. You're listening to James O'Brien on LBC, and there it is. You see, that's how it happens. That's how you can listen to that wailing and that weeping, and then log on to Infowars or Breitbart or wherever it is, and talk about George Soros.